For as long as I can remember, equipment in Deepwoken was just that, equipment, in that it added stats to your build, but it wasn't necessarily a part of the build in any meaningful way. That was until the World Events update release, which introduced pieces of equipment as well as master armor schematics with interesting talents that have never been seen on equipment before, with effects ranging from niche to borderline broken in my opinion. Today I want to discuss some of the more notable pieces of equipment that were added to the game, maybe talk about the potential impact that these items could have on the Deepwoken meta, and also about opportunity cost and how cost-benefit analysis could change how Deepwoken is played in the long term. But before I do that, like I 0% might grab and subscribe. I need subs, please. And if you're gonna hit the sub button, like button's right there. Just hit that while you're down there. You know what I'm saying? Let's just get into the content. So the World Events update in Deepwoken finally dropped last week, and thank God for that, because we needed a W after Dormant splitting. With the World Events update came all the obvious stuff like the World Events. But what I think flew over people's heads, at least initially, is a lot of the new armor and equipment we received. And now that the dust is settled at least a little bit, I want to talk about how powerful some of this new equipment actually is. Now before I even get to the topic of hand, I want to briefly discuss Heart of Enmity. I'm not really going to be talking about any of his armor drops in this video besides the Thrall of Enmity, because quite simply, it's just the best armor in the game. And honestly, if you're just trying to pump out as many stats as possible and make your build the statistically tankiest build ever, you're just gonna run that. What I more so want to talk about, at least in this video, is interesting pieces of equipment that offer you unique bonuses outside of that extra HP or physical armor that may make you select them over the best in slot items, starting with the Warlock's mantle. Now I'm gonna be so deadass, bro. When I saw a full-on wizard, mage, Gandalf, archmage, Magnus Perfectus style Gandalf outfit in Deepwoken, I started squealing like a little girl, cause deadass that shit is awesome. And I'm not gonna lie, bro, my excitement only grew when I saw the innate talent of the equipment, that talent being Overflowing Dam. Now to the uninformed, Overflowing Dam is a talent that gives your M1s a 50% damage boost when your ether has been full for 1.5 seconds. And typically this talent requires 40 intelligence to obtain. The Warlock's mantle has a stat requirement of 5 intelligence. I personally think this is an extremely cool piece of equipment, because typically on builds where you can take advantage of a talent like this, those stats are better spent elsewhere. For example, a Silent Heart or a PvE M1 build. The Warlock's mantle is also strictly worse than the other endgame meta chest piece options pip-wise, missing out on a legendary pip and a few innate stats. And at least in my opinion, that's a good thing, because in a game like this, you shouldn't get everything. Having the option between just picking the best thing to maximize your health or physical armor, and a potential side grade depending on what build you're running, with notable downsides, at least to me, seems healthy. It promotes the idea of not only build diversity, but of opportunity cost and truly weighing out the benefits and costs of each option. In the current landscape of Deepwoken, everyone kinda just runs the same 5 pieces of armor. It's basically indistinguishable. And I think, or at least I hope, having equipment like this will help alleviate that cycle. The next piece of equipment I want to talk about is the Thrall of Enmity, because unlike the other equipment drops from the Heart of Enmity, this one isn't quite as apparent in its strength. The Thrall of Enmity holds the talent Lose Your Mind, which allows the player to gain up to a 15% damage boost based on their levels of insanity. Now I'm gonna be so dead honest with y'all right now. This mask has a lot more heavy lifting to do than the Warlock's mantle, and that's due to it taking the same slots as Citadel frames, which are the best face accessory in the game. The other notable weakness is that the builds that want this talent typically just end up running the stats to get it anyway, and I don't really see how you would circumvent that while making a PvE build. But to be totally honest, bro, I still think the mask has a place, bro. Even the number of stat points you're saving by running it typically isn't actually that high, and the talent being offered is somewhat niche depending on the situation. I still appreciate the developers for creating an actual decision of cost-benefit analysis here, because depending on the build you're making and how you want to allocate your stats, picking the 5 HP Citadel frames might not be worth as much as picking the 15% damage. The last set of new items I want to talk about are the elemental armor schematics available from the Carnival of Hearts, as well as the Heretic's memento available from the Heart of Enmity. I want to talk about the elemental armor schematics first, because at least to me, those are the most interesting ones. Those outfits being the Sanguine Finery, Stormchanter's Raiments, Tempest Maker's Threads, and Icebringer's Vestments respectively. Those outfits being the Sanguine Finery, Stormchanter's Raiments, Tempest Maker's Threads, and Icebringer's Vestments respectively. Now right off the bat, these pieces of equipment all have a few things in common. Those things being that their stat spread, besides the element that they resist best, is exactly the same. The fact that among master armor they're all relatively cheap, the fact that they require elemental investment to actually wear, and the fact that they all provide a pre-existing elemental talent alongside them. Now I'm gonna be like dead ass here and be honest, some of these talents are very ass. I know I wouldn't be caught dead using Kickstarter ever, but those aren't really the pieces of equipment that I'm talking about here. I'm more so referring to the pieces of equipment that you might actually consider dropping your Black Diver for, purely due to the powerful talents that they have available. And two powerful options that I think could potentially be worth making the switch over from are the Tempest Maker's Threads and the Icebringer's Vestments, which offer air gliding and orbital ice respectively as their equipment talents. Orbital Ice has always been an extremely strong talent, and although it now scales with Ice Investment, it still provides damage reduction with just 45 Ice, and that's nothing to scoff at. Air Gliding also is typically a 65 stat requirement, being 30 Agility and 35 Gale Braid. But with the Tempest Maker's Threads, you save 20 of those stats, which could be useful on certain builds. I'm gonna be so dead ass, I do not know what those builds are, like at all, but that's for y'all niggas to find out, bro. Some nigga out there will find a use for that shit. I know they will. To wrap up this video, I just want to give the devs some actual props here. For the longest time, I feel like armor should at least have some level of consideration when it comes to making a build. And the way I see it, this is a pretty sick first step. At least for me, it feels pretty lame slapping the same Iron Singer, Star Boots, and Con Helmet on every single build without ever really thinking about it. Having equipment that has powerful upsides like strong talents, with the downsides of being marginally to notably worse stat-wise, adds a nice element of opportunity cost to build making in Deepwoken, and at least in my head, only opens up the door to more build diversity and more interesting and unique builds. It feels like I've been only saying this ironically or like as a joke recently, but like that ass, bro, you guys at Monad Studios have been in your bag with this update. Good shit, bro. Like, 5 gold stars. Like, comment, and subscribe, Let me know what you think about this update, because maybe I'm crazy and you guys don't want armor to be interesting and you just want to run the same Iron Singer, Con Helmet, and Star Boots, and you're entitled to that opinion. I just think that's lame. I'll see y'all later.